What's up, people? Welcome to the video and welcome back, members of the Tang Gang. Today we are going to be talking about Crucible. If you aren't aware of what this game is yet, it's an interesting clash between a third-person hero shooter and a MOBA, with some battle royale elements sprinkled in there as well. And it is free to play on Steam. When I first heard about it, I was honestly pretty hype. It looked like it had a lot of potential, and come launch day I downloaded the game right away. My friends and I have been trying out the game over the past week or so since it dropped, and I have to say I was spot on in my initial impression. The game does have a lot of potential. Problem is, a lot of that potential is currently unfulfilled. It kinda feels more like an open beta, not a full release game. The gameplay is definitely fun, and the audio and video design is very solid, but the game is filled with distracting bugs and a sufficient lack of features that need to be addressed if Amazon wants it to be taken seriously. And yes, you heard me right, Crucible was developed by Amazon, so it's understandable that being new to the gaming scene, they don't get it perfectly on the first try. But being the mega conglomerate that they are, Amazon has no excuse for not listening to feedback and updating their game to suit the needs of the players. So the purpose of this video is to get the community talking about what could be done to improve Crucible, specifically focusing on overall user experience improvements. We could talk about bugs, but I don't really think this is the correct platform for that. I report every bug I see in the game, and you should do so as well, and that should hopefully be enough for Amazon to get them fixed up. Hunter balance is also another thing entirely, and I might make a separate video on that later, but I don't really think the balance of the game is that much of a problem anyway. Everything I discuss in this video is ultimately my opinion, so do let me know if you agree or disagree with each point in the comments below. Like the video if you think Crucible has potential, and subscribe if you think I have potential, and now without further ado, let's jump into this. Okay guys, so as I was literally writing this, they added a sizable update to Crucible which fixed a ton of bugs and added some nice features, one of which I was going to mention in this video, being the ability to see the scoreboard during the match. You can press tilde or the button right above tab to view the scoreboard. Most important thing about this is you can see the enemy team's level during the game finally, and see who is doing the best on their team in order to try and counter them. Another thing they added is seeing harvesters and other objectives through the world as well as your distance from them. This makes it way easier to know who has which harvesters without having to pull up the map. A lot of my friends have been saying that they want a minimap added, but I think this update makes it a little less necessary. Very thankful for that update as well as the really thorough patch notes that they put out. This is a really good sign that they're listening and working hard to get updates out with features that we want. Now let's get started with the most important feature that they need to include in my opinion, that being some kind of team communication system. They do have the ability to ping location with a ping wheel, but I do feel like that's not enough, especially in Heart of the Hives. Not to mention you can't use the wheel on the map screen, you can only use the default ping, at least as far as I'm aware. They have a communication wheel in the game as well, but that just does the same thing as the ping wheel. I don't know if that's a bug or if it's intended, but it needs to be much more in-depth if that's going to be the only mode of team communication in the entire game. Things like enemies pushing on A or let's head towards the hive, that type of stuff would make team coordination so much easier. Of course, if the characters had voice lines to go along with these callouts, that would be even better. And the best case scenario would be to have all-out voice chat. I understand this type of comm system invites toxicity into the game, but it really does require some teamwork and coordination to consistently do well in any of the game modes, and without being able to talk to one another and come up with a plan, it usually comes down to a lot of luck, unless you're grouped with a full squad of friends. The way the game is right now, it's not a huge deal because everyone is still learning the game and there's no competitive aspect to it. I don't even think the game has matchmaking at all, which is fine for now. But if Crucible wants to be taken seriously, it needs to have an in-game communication system. They have a pop-up at the home screen right now to join their Discord? That's pretty lame in my opinion. Give us voice chat in-game, or at least let me type messages to my team. I just mentioned grouping up with a full squad of friends, but unfortunately you can't do that in Harvester Command, which is an 8v8 game mode, and you can only group up in groups of 4 or less. And with no custom or private lobbies in the game yet, if you have more than 4 friends that want to play, you just can't. So this is kind of a 2-for-1. Add private lobbies and add a mode in the arcade for Harvester Command that allows groups of 5 to 8. I don't care if the queue times are longer, they're really short as is, and if it means everyone gets to play, then I'll deal with it. There's already been a couple of times in the past week where I had 5 friends looking to play and we had to move to a different game instead. I get that having an 8 stack versus all randoms would be unfair, but a mode specifically for large groups would be lit. It could just be a variant of Harvester Command like I said, or it could be a whole new game mode, that would be even better, but just something that lets us play with more than 4 friends. We need that in the game. This next one is a small quality of life change that would do a lot for the new player experience. We need more information on the hunter select screen, namely, show me the character's starting max HP. It's not super predictable like it is in a game like Overwatch, where a lot of the heroes have the same default amount of HP. Also show ability cooldown times, and maybe even some numbers in terms of damage, shields, healing, and other character utility at base level. Tell me how many plants Bug can have out at once. I know once you play the game this stuff won't really matter, but again this is for newer players or for when people are trying out new hunters. Rather than just diving in blind, I'd like to kinda know what to expect when I load in with a new hero. On the audio side of things, there are a couple of changes I would love to see. The first is for the sound cue played for a kill to be different based on whether the kill was friendly or enemy. The current sound they use for every kill sounds kind of negative to me, so every time someone dies I fear the worst. It would be nice to know whether the kill was good or bad without having to glance up at the kill feed. And speaking of the kill feed, sometimes when I'm in the middle of spawning, I can't see the kill feed. Please let me see the kill feed at all times, especially if the kill noise stays the same. Hearing that noise and not knowing which team got the kill for a few seconds is very much unfun, particularly when I know my team is engaged in a high fight. The other audio change I'm interested in is possibly adding voiceover cues for when the enemy is taking a harvester my team owns. Like in Call of Duty, when the enemy is taking Alpha, you definitely know about it. And the same thing for when your team is capturing a harvester. Have them say over the comms like, oh, I'm taking A, or something like that. Maybe they don't want the former in the game because it takes away the possibility to sneak up and take a harvester from behind enemies' backs. I can understand that argument. But definitely give us a voiceover line for when the enemy has successfully taken a harvester. Like, we've lost B. It can be one of the characters that says it, maybe the closest one to the point, or the voiceover lady. I don't care. Just make me and my team aware of it right away so we can react accordingly. And to be clear, I don't just want this for Harvester Command, I want this for all game modes that include harvesters. And the last big issue I need to see fixed is something a bit more intricate, but it will make a world of a difference for the feel of the game. A lot of characters, specifically melee characters like Drakal and Shakiri, don't feel fluid enough with their ability usage. What I mean is, using Drakal as an example, if you're in the middle of a primary fire axe swing, you can't use your abilities until the animation is finished. So sometimes you'll see the perfect moment to land a hook and press Q, only to have it completely fail because your axe animation wasn't done. This does not feel good at all, and I would love to see some improvements made to the fluidity of the game in this regard. Abilities should cancel primary fire, and you should be able to chain abilities on any hunter in a satisfying way. This might be the most important change because some characters just don't feel as good to play because of this seemingly little inconvenience. And there you have it. Those are the 6 most important things I think Amazon needs to fix about Crucible. What do you think of my list? Was there anything you were hoping to see me talk about but I missed it? Let me know in the comments. I know I suck at making consistent content, but if this video gets a good amount of likes, I'll definitely be making more Crucible content. Let's say 30 likes and I guarantee a hunter balance video by next week. So absolutely destroy that like button and subscribe to join the Tang Gang. That's all I got for now. If you haven't tried Crucible yet, go and give it a whirl. It is pretty fun. Thanks for watching, and until we meet again, later people!